Good morning. I am Marlo Johnson, manager of the Small Business Programs Office, and I bring you greetings from our general manager, Randy Clark, our senior vice president and chief of procurement, Nathan Nash, and our vice president and chief of procurement, Fifi Magosa. Welcome to WMATA Small Business Programs Office virtual education presentation to help support your business. Today's presentation is Generating Leads with Power by Dina Bell Nance, owner and chief learning officer trainer by design. At WMATA, your participation is key, and we encourage all small businesses to get certified with WMATA. Please make sure you check our website and learn more about our programs. We are definitely open for business, and we want to be a part of your contracting opportunities. We are your metro, the way forward. Questions in the chat, and remember to fill out your surveys that will be sent to you after the presentation. These surveys help us to plan for programs and events that can benefit you and support your business development and growth. Again, thank you for attending this event and enjoy your session. Please join me in introducing our presenter, Ms. Dina Bell Nance. Ms. Nance is the owner and chief learning officer of Training by Design Incorporated. She believes that by educating and engaging your staff with a spirit of excellence, it will help you to create a powerful and healthy work environment that will outlast the competition. Training by Design, Inc. is currently celebrating 23 years. Let's say that again, 23 years in business excellence and providing executive business seminars, professional development training, customized technical training, project management training services, ISD curriculum design, coaching, and keynote speaking engagements to the public and the private sectors. Please join me in welcoming Dina Bell Nance.
Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And let me just say, I am so excited. I am excited. So there's a lot we're going to cover. There's a lot I'm going to do. But the first thing I want to do is I want to do an opening exercise. And I want to do that because I believe that that will allow you to really know what our focus is on today, what our focus is on today. But before I even do the exercise, I want to check on one item. Let's double check, because I don't see them. Shanae or Marlo, do you see my slides up?
Not yet.
Okay, because they were up. So I will double check. Thank you very much. Wanted to make sure. Guys, give me one moment. Let's double check.
We are a go.
Excellent. Just wanted to make sure. Wonderful. So this one, the very first exercise I want us to do is I need for everyone to go into the chat. And let me just say this exercise is optional. But the reason I'm doing this exercise is because as a business owner of being in business for 24 years, one of the things I learned and one of the things I try to do all the time is I recognize that the moment I wake up every day, lead generation needs to be on my mind every day when I wake up. And while I don't have a slide about this item, I believe part of what happens and part of what I need to happen for you today is that once you truly decide that you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur that desires to make money through your business, there has to be a mindset shift in your mind. Once your mind shifts into a place that I want to make money, I'm going to make money, then we have to change our behavior, our activities, who we hang out, what we do, what we read. Honestly, I even think what we eat, because everything affects how we represent our business. It affects it. So as a result of that, someone taught me this years ago, and I'm gonna tell you something really funny, and then we're gonna do the exercise. My kids are now 22 and 25. But when they were young, I was active in school, at the soccer thing, at the dance thing, doing what we do. But the joke to my children was, why are you on the football field with lipstick on and a blazer? But because honestly, my mother worked at the White House. My mother worked at the White House in the mail analysis department. And in the sixth grade, my mother taught me, you can't go out the house with a run in your tights. You can't, your stuff can't be wrinkled. You can't look like you just got out of bed. And once something's taught to you, it transitions into your adulthood. So my mindset was on the football field, there may be another parent who needs training. There may be another parent who needs um, consulting services. There may be another parent that need business development help. There may be another parent that wants to learn LinkedIn. And guess what? Just because I'm out here for my son doesn't stop me from being a business owner. I was mommy first, but I'm a business owner. And I got business that way because once they realized that she's out here supporting him, but she got business cards in her back pocket, okay? Because once your mindset shifts that I'm always on, then as a result, you always get business, okay? So as our mindset shifts, what I need you to put in the chat. And this is only if you want to. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But for those that want to, go into the chat and put three things for me. Type your first name, type your business name, and type one mode of contact information. Your first name, your business name, and your preferred contact. You can either put an email or phone number, and that's it. Do that piece first. Start putting them in there, have a good time. If you don't want to do, you don't have to. After you do that, though, what I really want you to do, because again, I need you to take advantage. The thing we're doing right now, this is called low hanging fruit. Okay. Everybody on here jumped on here because they want to learn something new about generating leads. So as a result of that, I want to make sure that all is going well. Okay. And I want to make sure that you guys are connecting. Even though I'm teaching, you can still connect. After you put all those things in the chat, then I need you to take a few seconds because, we got a couple of seconds. Take a few seconds, go scan the list and go either take your camera, take a picture of a few that you're going to respond to, but at least either highlight three of them and copy them into your own system or take a picture of at least three of them. Because guess what? This is how we get business. Now, you don't call them up and say, hi, John, I have this type of business, would love to sell you. No, you call up John next week and say, John, I just want to say hello. Did you enjoy this session? Have you done anything? Have you implemented anything Dina taught? Love to have coffee with you. We don't have to push a sale. We just have to push our relationship. Okay. We don't have to push the sale. We just have to push the relationship. After you and John have coffee, introduce your businesses. It'll take a minute, but guess what? Every powerful lead starts with some type of connection, conversation, or mode of communication. Okay. Y'all know that was good. So while you guys are doing that exercise, I have forgive me, this is a housekeeping thing, but I have a couple of people that I invited at the last moment. And Miss Shanae, I think you can hear me. Shanae, they're texting me saying that they registered, but they don't have the live link to get in. Can you please text me the live link for them? If you text it to me, I will get it to them. If you can text me the live link on my phone number that you have. And if you don't, I'm gonna give it to you. 301
Okay, will do.
You got the number. You need the number.
I have your number.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you because they'll call me bad names if I don't follow up. I appreciate you. Thank you. So, how you guys coming? Are you guys? Let me check out the chat and see what is happening. Are you guys sharing your information, Marlo?
There's
how things
a lot
going?
There. There's a lot there.
Love it.
A lot of participation in the chat.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And let me say this. If you don't have a website, I don't care about that. Still put your name, still put the name of your business and give them a way to contact you. Okay. A website does not make us business owners. What makes us business owners is powerful business owners. Okay. Pure powerful mindsets. Your website doesn't make you business. So don't worry about that. You'll get that done later. Okay. I love it. And honestly, these days, people spend more time on our LinkedIn than they do our website. Just want to share that with you. So as you guys wrap that up, again, don't forget to at least take pictures of at least 3 to 4 of them or copy them because you're going to follow up with them by next week to introduce yourself, chat with them, and get to know them. That is our first way to introduce our business. But also, as we wrap up on the first slide, I just wanted to let you know, whenever I do these sessions, I'm always just kind of sharing some things about me, because I think it's great for those business owners that are multimillionaire or billionaire, and they're in a certain place and they believe that you don't need to know their struggle. But I don't believe in that. I believe that sometimes we have to share some of our struggles so that others will know, well, if she made it, I can make it. So one of the things for me is I've kind of had an issue with the whole certification thing for years. But the testimony is, for 23 years, I've been in business 24, for 23 years, I functioned without any. And I'm saying that to the people on the other end that are thinking you're not real business because you don't have a certification. That is not truth. Not only did I not have a certification, I do have an undergrad degree in computer science, but I literally have been in about 9 federal agencies, a Fortune 500, a Fortune 200. I came out of FDIC as a consultant and then started my business. But I just share those things just to say that, again, just like the website doesn't make a business, neither does a certification. Is it a great door? Yes, a great door, but it's not the only door, and it is not your source. So don't let that stress go about you're not a business owner. Now, because I felt like it was time, I pursued certifications literally the last quarter of 2025. So the certifications on the front page here, I got them all last year. Okay, I became an MBE last year. I became a certified small business last year and a certified virtual facilitator last year. Now, I do provide ministry and life skills at DC Jail. They want you to be certified in a certain strategy there. I had to do that type of certification, but regarding the business certification, did not get any till last year. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but in the chat, text, put a little note in there if you needed to hear that, because again, I'm not downplaying the certifications. I'm not. But what I want to make sure is that you know that you are great right now without them. You have skills, you have talents, hopefully a lot of you have critical thinking skills, you have a commitment, some of you are risk takers, but when you decide you're going to run a business, there are a wealth of skill sets that you're walking in every day, even before certification happens. So don't ever think that you're nothing until you get that. That will be an add-on to who you already are. Okay? So hope that exercise excited you. I can't wait to see all of your good things, because I'm going to also copy some of those myself so I can reach out to you and connect. Okay?
We got
So,
some nice, good comments and some thumbs up, Dina.
yes. Thank you, Marlo. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Marlo. So this is a draft agenda. Let me tell you something. We're going to cover so much more than this, but this is the realm of what we're going to cover. One of the things we're going to talk about, first of all, is identifying the power of your brand and your why in business. The power of your brand and your why in business. We're going to also talk about the powerful lead generation, and I already hit this piece, how it actually starts in the mind. Who you are, what you bring to the table, what your business is doing, all of those things, they start in the mind. So I want to make sure that you know that it doesn't start in the certification. It doesn't start when you sit in front of the client. Your mind has to shift before you go there. We're going to also talk about what a qualified lead actually is, because guess what, guys? I know sometimes someone may say to you, John, who's your ideal client? And I know sometimes we're tempted to say everybody, because in our mind, we think about the money. But in all fairness, everybody is not our client. Everybody is not a good fit. Everybody is not really the ones that our business and our brand and our solutions are designed to help. So we really have to spend some time identifying, first of all, what is it that I'm really selling? Who is my ideal client? Because once we do those things, it's harder to go get leads. Part of the reason we're not pushing our business is there's this secret insecure thing in us where we're not quite sure, do I have the elevator speech ready? I'm not quite sure what to say when they ask me a certain thing. I'm really not quite sure what I'm selling. So if we're uncomfortable there, it's hard to push it, because I'm telling you, you can look in someone's face and tell if they're confident in what they're selling. Okay? So we got to know what we're selling. And if you're uncomfortable there, it's okay to go get help. You may need to go get help in presentation skills. You may need to go get help in sales skills. I love that you're here because guess what? I'm going to give you some information and help you regarding how to generate leads. That's going to help you. But also, you just may need to even get help with just being comfortable with what you're doing. Okay. But we're also going to look at how to look at multiple lead generation strategies. We're going to talk about, I know some people think I'm on social media. That is not enough. That is not enough. So we're going to talk about different ways to get business. We're going to talk about how to strengthen your messaging and how to really become more visible. And we're going to talk about how at the end, we're going to create a simple and actionable lead generation plan. But even before I go to the next slide, I don't have a slide for the first bullet, but I want to chat about it for a moment because I just think it's a piece of our business life. So when I say your brand and your why in business, so first of all, when I think of my brand, first of all, my company is Training by Design Incorporated. My primary mission statement is that we create global L&D solutions designed to shift cultures. And we do that because we're trying to help shift the culture of your organization or your agency. Now, how do I shift your culture? I shift your culture through our learning development solutions, such as leadership training or critical thinking skills, stress management skills, some of my favorites, emotional intelligence skills, strategic thinking. All of those skills that are designed to help strengthen your staff will also strengthen your organization. But regarding the brand, for years on my marketing material, I said Training by Design Incorporated. And guess what I had beneath it? It said, with God as my CEO. I'm not going to say I removed it, but I have removed it off of some of my pieces because I'm really just too tired for the battle right now. I'm just too tired to always explain why that's there. But even though it's not there, I'm just going to say it. It's still how I lead. It's still how I treat my clients. It's still how I operate. Okay. But while it's not there in print, that's really my core brand. The brand and theme of my colors are primarily gold, black, and white. So a lot of my things are in those colors. But regarding why am I in business? Training by Design is in business because I have a desire to see agencies and organizations function in what's called a healthy culture. And we're in a very, very tough environment right now. I don't think every agency is toxic, but they're more toxic than healthy. So my focus is not just to see the corporations become healthy, but I'd also like to see individuals get to a place that they enjoy going to work. So when you begin to shift your culture and we begin to come in and help you design different courses and design different programs, you begin to create an environment that feels safe, an environment that feels fun, an environment that feels creative and collaborative, because that's our focus. When we come in, we're trying to take your culture to a place to be collaborative, engaging, accountable, and ultimately trust. So if an individual feels like they're coming into your company and they feel those words, then they feel like that they can stay. They want to stay. So that's my why. But also my why came out of because I've been in some agencies that didn't represent that. I was in some organizations where I was bullied. I was in some organizations where I was treated a certain way because I wasn't a certain color. I've been through that. And once I got out of there, and I began to start my business, it took me some years to really figure out, why am I doing this business? But what I realized was if I get to you, I'm not going to have another person be in my presence and not understand the importance of who they are in the workplace, but also the importance of what they bring to the table. But once I started a business, what I was clear of was I know what I bring to the table. I know how to sell it. I hope you will buy it. But whether you buy it or you don't buy it, guess what? I'm still great. And we got to get to that mindset. And guess what? Sometimes the very client you think is perfect for you, I swear I'm not going to start preaching, but what I need you to know, there are some doors that you don't need to go through. There's some doors, it looks shiny and it looks gold and it looks like if I could just get that one, it could give me business for 4 years. But what you don't know is we don't always know what's behind that door. We don't know who the bullies are. We don't know if they're embezzling money. We don't know if they're abusive. We don't know because you could live. I'm just saying, I can't help it. I'm just saying you could get into a new client, you could get into a new contract and sign those papers and literally be caught up in something for 2 years that's designed to take you out. So yes, this is business, but it's also ministry because our businesses should be designed to change the world. To change the world. So in the chat, I want you to share some things. I want Marlo to share some of them with me. I want you to put at least one item in the chat related to your why. Let's just stay right here for a minute. What is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? What are you hoping to change? What's the one thing you're hoping to fix or sell or change in the marketplace? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because if you don't have a why, and your why is just because, well, my friend told me if I sell this thing, I could make 2 million. It's nothing wrong with that. But if your mindset is really just about, let me get the money, I promise you, there's going to be some stuff that you do that may not be ethical. There may be some stuff that you do that's not really professional. You may step on some toes and step on some heads, because once we decide that money is the bottom line goal and nothing else matters, guess what? We go down a rabbit hole that is not pretty, and sometimes we don't even care who we hurt. And we're in a different situation right now. There's a lot happening in our nation, in federal government, even in state government, in the area. And what it means is that I don't have to operate like what I'm in. I can be the answer. I can bring something to the table that can shift a particular environment. Okay. Marla, did you get any good answers on the why?
Yeah, before I
Read
do that,
some,
I'm going to
please.
share what, as a small business manager, I'm going to share what I always share with customers, with
Yes.
businesses. I think the why should be creating legacies to leave behind to your family. That's a good
Woo!
why. Creating generational wealth.
Love
So
it.
I'll always share that with businesses, but there's some coming in now, aligning people and their organizations for improved outcomes. I like it. Develop a
Yes.
culture of excellence to build family legacy. All
Yes.
right, all right.
Yes.
We're aligned.
Love
um,
it.
Another one, to use my talent in the creative space to help nonprofits and organizations make impactful changes. Okay, come on, keep them
I
going.
love it. I love it. I'm just sitting off this to my network.
Okay. Events, merge creative storytelling, strategic marketing, and flawless execution to craft memorable moments that elevate your company brand and engage your audience. Uh, this is events by, was it Barago? I think
Ooh.
that your whole mission statement says a lot
Read,
about
read,
what
read
Gina
it.
is
Read it
talking
again for me,
about.
please. Read it again, Marlo. The
Merge
mission statement.
creative storytelling, strategic marketing, and flawless execution to craft memorable moments that
Ooh.
elevate your company's brand and engage your audience.
Wow.
That's a
Wow.
wonderful mission statement.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it.
Here's another one. Equip people to build the communities they deserve and desire. Yes, that's a good one.
Love it.
We got to start supporting each other.
I love it.
To help people and organizations thrive, to help generate employment in the underserved areas in the DMV, educate and
Yes.
train others on entrepreneurship while creating generational wealth. Amen.
Love it.
Take the stress away from this is travel concierge services. They said take the stress away from travel planning from start to return at home. Allow clients to create meaningful connections. You know what? We all need vacations, yeah. To
Yes. I
get
love
away
it.
from it. We
I
all
love
need
it. I
vacations.
love it. And let me just say, Marlo, again, to those of you that are not sure about your why, again, take a picture of some of these. I know sometimes our mindset gets into this place of, well, I don't want to steal their idea. I don't want, guess what? This is what collaboration looks like. This is virtual collaboration right here. What you do is you take a picture of theirs and you begin to sit with that. It's not going to look just like theirs, but as you look at it, it'll jar what's in your head. It'll literally set you on fire. Mm, sometimes I have to view greater to know what greater feels like. And when I view greater, it reminds me that, wait a second, greater's in me. You might not get your answer right away, but maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 days from now, you're going to pop up with, oh my goodness, where did that statement? It'll be your exact statement in your head, because that's really that's what I'm speaking here. That's our desire. That's Marlo and Shanae's desire. Our focus is that you will leave with something that will spark you into your next level of greatness, because we all have some. Okay, Marley, you want to read one more? You want to read some later? Because I'll take them to the
Help
next.
clients find and fine-tune their voices in a crowded media landscape.
Ooh, that's good. That is good. Okay. That is good. So I'm going to take us to the next item, but these are great. And this is what we're doing. What we're doing is right now we are talking about different ways to generate leads. When your why is clear, all of those that gave us a clear why, what that means is that they may be looking for some other strategies, but what they're not confused of what they do. Now, if they're having lunch and the prospect says, oh my God, I love that, tell me more. Part of what we're going to talk about today is really how to craft the more. We want to make sure that we know what that next statement should be. Are we very clear? And let me make sure you're clear. I know some of y'all are thinking this isn't a marketing class. Well, it really is, because you can't generate a lead if you're not positive of what you're selling. So that's why I'm spending a little bit more time on the marketing piece, and then we'll get into actually getting those leads. Because if you're clear up here, I'm telling you, when they stop me on the football field and they say, Miss Nay, somebody told me you have a business, it's on. It's because let me be clear. I'm already looking cute. Okay. I've already studied what I do. Okay. I've already got my cards in my pocket. So when I turn around and you ask me a question, I don't have to stutter to say, oh yes, I have a training firm and this is what we do. This is the problem we're solving. Love to have coffee, because I'm always trying to first of all, coffee makes the world go round to me. But I believe if I can get in front of you, whether via Zoom or in person, magic is going to happen. And if I get in front of you and it doesn't feel good, I don't get caught up anymore regarding what did I do wrong. Sometimes we're not supposed to make magic. Every client is not supposed to be ours. I'm going to say that over and over today. Okay. Every client is not supposed to be ours. But when you find the one you're supposed to have, it will become clear in the conversation. It'll become clear in the connection. It'll become clear in the follow through. Okay, let's move out of here. That was good. Thank you, Marla. That was good stuff. This is my capability statement. We're not going to go over it. Bottom line, though, is the high level is we provide leadership, professional development, technology, project management, and coaching engagements. That's who we are. That's what we do. Our focus is on expertise, excellence, and execution. We're going to do what we say, and I believe we're going to do it well. Our audience is federal, local, state, private, and nonprofits. Okay. We try to support a host of individuals. Some of our clients are listed here, but if you want more information, I can send you our whole packet. But when you get this information, you will have this page in your packet. So you will see the details. Let's get into this. Let's get into more. So let's get started. Number one, I think you guys already know this. You will get this PowerPoint presentation. They will send you a wonderful thank you packet, and this will be included in there. If you want to take additional notes, you can, or you can just sit back and relax, because everything will be given to you. So item number one, how do we generate leads with power? Number one, we've been talking about what it is that our why is, what it is that our business does. And as a result, once we're clear about that, we now need to make sure that we are attracting the right people, not just more people, but the right people. The next thing is we have to use intentional strategies, not just random posting, but we need to focus on stuff like the services we offer, the products we're delivering, our value proposition, passion projects and events. I'll give examples of those in a moment. And the last piece is we want to make sure that we're always creating consistent and predictable opportunities. So beginning today, generating leads with power. Again, let me back up. I said it a little bit early, but for those that were late, when you wake up in the morning, I know we have a lot of things on our mind, right? It's the bills that need to get paid. Some of you have children that's going on. Some of you are raised. Some of you are helping your elder parents. Some of us have some challenges happening right now. But I got the client meetings that I need to go to. The client celebration I promised I would attend. There's a lot happening. But in the midst of all of that, there needs to be some small piece in your brain that's always having this dialogue of, what leads am I going to generate today? What action am I going to perform today that will produce a future client? Whatever I do today is about my future, whatever I do. So let's look at the middle one for a moment. The middle one for a moment Well, no. Let's go back to the top. Attracting the right people. When I started my business years ago, I was the main one that when somebody called me and said, Dina, I heard you started a training business. So Dina, like, who's your ideal client? Or, who are the people you're looking for? I want to see if I can introduce you to somebody. And because I didn't know anybody, I was like, anybody, because everybody needs training. Everybody's toxic, just, we don't know no better. I was just, right, Miss Marla, I just wanted some people. I wanted some checks. So I was just like, anybody. And over time, I was like, whatever you say you're going to get. So I started getting anybody. And guess what happens when you get anybody? Number one, it means that those people that I was saying, yes, I love to train you. Number one, a lot of them couldn't afford me. So that was a problem. Number two, a lot of them did not believe their agencies needed to be trained. So even though I'm pushing and I'm selling, I'm trying to get them to close the deal, I'm wasting more time in an area that I should not have been. That was a problem. And then the last piece was the ones that were my ideal client. I did not have a very clear picture of the problem I was solving. So I know I've lost a lot of business because I didn't do my time and do my homework. So back to those initial slides, when I addressed knowing your why and making sure let me let me spell it out. Don't just know your why. If you don't have a clear mission or vision statement, even my mission statement, at least have a clear mission statement. If you don't have a clear mission statement, that's a part of identifying who your client is. So even though I may say to people, they say, well, Sadina, what are you doing? Tell me about your business. I let them say, well, I don't say my mission is, I say our focus is that we create global L&D solutions, design and shift cultures. And you can look at their face to see how that hits them. And a lot of times, because that's broad, I say, well, honestly, the way we do it is we create powerful L&D solutions. So we provide leadership, professional development, project management training, coaching and speaking engagements. And then I tell them everything we do is centered on creating a healthy culture for you, one class at a time. Because what I realized was everybody doesn't need this, depending on how clear yours is. If yours is very clear here, you don't have to say anymore. But if yours is a little bit higher level, sometimes you need a tier 1 response, a tier 2, and a tier 3. My tier 3 is I'm now kind of getting into, would you like to know some sample classes or some of the business problems we're solving? Because in your why, I'm going to stay right here for a minute. This is not a slide, so just take a few notes right here regarding the things that you want to make sure that you're clear of about your business. But number one, what is your mission statement? Number two, what is the business problem you're solving? So what's your mission statement? What's the business problem you're solving? And then number three, how do you do it? Okay. The business problem I'm solving is chaos and confusion in the workplace. I'm solving toxic environments in the workplace. I'm solving those workplace challenges where they're not able to complete their assignments timely. There's not clear engagement between the staff. There's no synergy on projects where the environment is not healthy. I'm focused on unhealthy environments in the workplace, and I'm trying to bring a level of a healthy culture. And because culture is such a big word, I'm letting them know that I'm trying to help. That's why I don't say I fix your culture. I always use the word, I help shift your culture through our services. I help shift your culture through our L&D solutions. So I'm just trying to be real clear as I get down to that bottom. And then they may even say, can you tell me some of the classes that you deliver? Yes, I can. But I don't start with the classes because that's not the solution. My solution is L&D solutions. So again, just know those things. Know your mission, know your why, and know how you do it. How do I do it? We come in and we develop either a 3, 6, or 9-month program as to how your staff can be trained. And at the end of our training solutions, we believe that we are going to address the particular problem that you're having. Sometimes their issue is chaos and confusion. Sometimes it is a lot of stress. Sometimes it is not able to know accountability. Sometimes it is issues and communicate. Sometimes they have a lot of conflict in the office because there's no communication. So we'll build a communication plan. But what I'm very clear of is what are our solutions and how does it map to a problem? So the last thing you may want to work on is a map, a problem. I'm going to say a solution map. That's good right there. A solution map. Marla, that just dropped in my spirit, okay? Because
I
if you
like
can
it.
I like it, visuals are wonderful. If you can have a nice infographic, and how do you do an infographic? Guess what? Put your things on paper, drop it into Word, into Smart Art, it'll create an infographic for you, or call me and I'll help you do it. Okay. But if you can have a clear list on one side of the problems you're solving, let me say this to you, to my perfectionists, I don't need you to have a list of 20 problems. Don't do that, because that's too overwhelming. No more than 5. No more than 5. You may do others, but get them. We want to get the sale. So at least have maybe 5 problems on the left and what your solution is to the right, so you can begin to map, because the problem to the left, you may do 3 things to map to that. Nothing wrong with that, but you want to be real clear of what it is so that you can memorize that. When you memorize that and they say, well, I'm just, tell me again what you're doing. As they're talking, you're going to hear one of the problems on your left side. And you can say, well, you know what, Susie, I'm going to give you a copy of my mind map, but it really sounds like you need this solution. We've had past clients where we've really done this and it's worked well. It's solved that problem. Because I just want to know what you're going to do if I'm supposed to pay you. But while you're talking with them, guess what? Don't get caught up in trying to push the sale. Let go of that. Just listen to them, get to know their problem. When you get time, change the conversation. Say, Susie, you know what? When's the last time you had a good vacation? Susie, how's your family doing? Let them relax in you, because if they can relax and tell you their problems, they're building trust with you. People buy from us when they trust us. They want to trust us, okay? So attracting the right people, we got that covered. Let's talk about intentional strategies. Let's make sure all my people are on. Excellent. Okay. Let's talk about intentional strategies. I'm going to hit this off and on a couple of times, but I want to hit it now because I know it is a biggie. I have some other slides that are going to talk about social media, but I'm going to kind of bring it into the conversation early. Let's address this for a minute. One of the biggest challenges about social media is people believe that if I just post what I'm doing, if I just post, once a week and just kind of tell them who I am and put a nice picture of yourself with a couple of things that you're doing, or if I just post my business card, they should know who I am. And I don't know why I'm not getting business. If you're serious about using social media as a part of your marketing plan, then you have to create the marketing plan and allow social media to be a part of it. Social media is not your whole plan, but it is a good piece of it. Okay. So I'm not going to address LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm not going to address IG or Facebook or TikTok. I'm only going to address LinkedIn. You can apply wherever you want, but in my mind, LinkedIn is a viable, powerful product that, if used properly, not only will it get you business, it will allow you to also elevate your brand like never before. So I'm just going to talk, and honestly, I'm not even going to talk LinkedIn yet. I'm just going to address our activity. How about that? Our activity on social media. So right here in the middle where it says focus on services, products, value, proposition, passion, and events. One of the things I started doing about maybe 7 years on social media was I started building a plan regarding what I was going to talk about on my post. Because a lot of times, I know in our mind we're thinking that we haven't written it down, but in our mind we're thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. I got the plan in my head, but you got a lot of other things in your head. So because there's so much that we are bombarded with every day, we have to be careful, because whatever I'm bombarded with, it's going to come out of my mouth when I start to post. Oh, that was good. And I don't mean any harm. If I have a business and I'm ultimately going to use the social media platform to discuss my business, that I don't need to veer off and start talking about what my girlfriend did to me last week. I don't need to talk about how that client didn't pay me. I don't need to talk about what happened in the White House. I don't need to do that, because when I'm on social media, and now I am going to go into LinkedIn for you. When I'm on social media, because LinkedIn is a professional platform and it's an expert system designed to help you give business, the moment you get a profile and you start doing anything, the world is watching us. Why is the world watching us? Because there are over 1 billion people now on LinkedIn with the average income of 190,000. It's over 1 billion people with the average income of 190,000. So because of that, I describe this to people. When you're really getting on LinkedIn for the first time and you start posting and writing stuff and connecting, there is this train. There's this LinkedIn train that your business moving along. Every day it's moving along. Whatever you post, whatever you talk about, whoever you connect with, Whatever you begin to say, even how you celebrate holidays, it's nothing wrong with that, but be intentional, be purposeful. Always keep it in the business realm. Even when I introduce my kids, if my kids do something, so my kids, let's say they graduated college and they did, I would post their picture. But what my text says is training by design. We always share the same statement and we say, remember, I'm a powerful business owner, but keep the main thing, and to keep the most important thing first. In my life, my most important things is my husband and children. Please take a moment to celebrate my daughter who just graduated, blah, 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 right? I'm still keeping my business conversation there, but because I spent so much time raising her, I'm going to celebrate her. So I put that there. And on occasion, I had a wedding anniversary. And I was like, I'm not going to put that, but I hadn't really put anything in a couple of days. I'm just going to post it. And again, I said, Training by Design just wants to take a moment to thank her number one client, her number one advisor, her number one love. Please let me celebrate. Why in the world did I get 2,000 hits on LinkedIn? And what that said to me, though, was my mentor had to tell me. She said, Dina, remember, people know you're about your business. They're watching you. But when you can take a minute to share a little bit of your heart, they also know that you have a balance. People want to make sure that if we have balance, then they know that we're real. If we have balance, I'm also kind of displaying some piece of integrity of me, because it's the people that are so secretive and so I can't tell you nothing, and you always act like you're up here. People don't want to do business with us because they're like, they cannot, if they're that perfect, I can't, they're not going to want my business. So they want to know that we're real. They want to know that there's balances. They want to know that there's something else in our life. It's okay. You got somebody in a nursing home and you're struggling, but keep it business. And you know what? I just want to take a moment to thank the wonderful people at blah, blah, blah place. Let me tell you something. That's going to get you some business, probably from somebody that works there. When we celebrate our clients, when we celebrate the people that are helping us, even if they didn't do well, you can say something very carefully. You can say, my parents are over here, and as a business owner, it's been really tough trying to manage it all. And what I realize is sometimes I got to make sure I find a place that can really meet my needs. Did you see how careful that was? But the undertone, there was an undertone. Okay, put some notes in the chat for us and let us know. Did you pick up my undertone? What was I really saying to that assisted living place? Okay, but be careful. Be careful. So, my business, learning development firm. I have 5 core services, but guess what? I'm also a full-time minister. I also spend a lot of time at DC jail. I also spend a lot of time volunteering at a few other places. I also would sit on a couple of board seats for different organizations. Because of that, wherever I spend my time, that is what your post should look like. So if I have 5 core services that I provide, so on a regular basis, my post is either going to be about leadership training, professional development training, technology training, project management training, or speaking. That's going to be the I talk about. But in addition, I'm going to also talk about some of the value that I bring. I work on passion projects. I think all of you need to consider having a passion project. We won't go there yet. I'll come back to that a little bit later. But when I go to events, I am posting about those events. Let me make sure you're clear. I'm not posting it because I thought I looked cute and I want you to see me. It's not about that. I'm posting it because if I took a picture with the head of, I was at some event and I didn't even know that the person was very high up at Fort Meade, like second or third top person. I was like, what? I knew they had a high position, but I couldn't see their name tag. I kept trying to, but I was like, I'm just going. She said, come on, dear, let's take a picture. So she jumps in the picture. Another executive, I said, let's just take the picture. And when I got home, I was like, oh my goodness. And I said, do I post it? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be very careful. Bottom line is, people know these days, if you're in a picture, unless they turn to you and say to you, because of my role, please do not. If they don't say that to us, fair game. I took my picture, posted that thing, and all kinds. They were like, you're in the picture with her. The reason we're posting professional images, because we're just sharing. Remember the train? We're sharing our narrative. So I've already posted on some leadership stuff. I've already posted on training. I've already posted on project management for the week. And then I'll pop in here a couple of pictures. What I'm saying to them is, oh, she's not only busy completing her task, she's making time to network. Well, wow, she's making time to network with the big wigs. This is all adding an image to my business. So sharing events and sharing pictures is fine, but I'll also share celebratory moments for my business owners. I also share I also share projects. whenever I do a training project, a couple of days later, I'm going to show you the first slide. And I'm going to say thank you so much to Constellation. It was an honor to present the critical thinking skills last week. In the main session, we covered these 3 items, but it truly was my honor. Thank you again. So I got a post that looks very nice. I got the image of the PowerPoint page from the training. I got a thank you to who Constellation was. I left it very casual. I don't need to make it big. I don't need to add any bells and lights. But what did that do? I want y'all to put in the chat for me. By me posting, and when you post something you finished doing, just a little piece of it, what does that do to your following when you post that? Put something in the chat for me. Let me know, what does that do by posting that? Remember, we're adding all these things onto our marketing train, all these things regarding why I'm trying to generate leads. Sometimes just sharing what you do, just sharing who you are, puts people in line to become your lead. Marlo, did you get any items in there about what my picture did?
No, not yet.
Okay, that's okay. But I need y'all to consider
One
those
just
things.
in, it's fresh off
Okay.
the press. Build your network, because people will like and share, and their network will see your posts.
That's it.
Demonstrates capabilities and whom your customers are.
That's it. I don't have to take the picture to say, did y'all know that Constellation Fortune 200? Did you know that I don't need to do all that. I don't need to say, I've done 6 classes. I don't need to get into all of that. I don't need to, this is not about bragging. This is about me. We have businesses. We have worked, each of you working hard. We have worked hard to establish our business environment, and then we go do the business. So we don't have time to share every day, but when we decide to pick special moments, people remember those. So there's some people that call me maybe after 6 months, but I know they've been watching me because I see them. You can see who looked at your information, and they'll say, I'd love to meet with you, and when we meet in person, they start acting like we're friends. And I'm thinking to myself, I know I have not met them before. And then they'll say, Dana, I don't know if you know, I've been following you for 6 months. And it hits me, because if we're really doing our business and doing it effectively, and just doing it consistently, not perfectly, because guess what? There's some of my posts had misspelled words, and it ain't keep me up at night. Now, when a friend told me about it, I was like, oh, let me go fix it. But we don't have time to get all caught up with, oh my, go fix it and keep moving. But just keep being you. Just keep showing what you do. And the next box says, just keep being consistent. Now, there's a page at the end of the thing that says, how much should we post? I don't say that to people. I don't get into, you got to put something daily. But number one, if we're really working, you don't have time for that. And most times we're not paying nobody to do that. We don't have to post daily. Do we need to post? We need to post something. I don't want to say how much. This is what I do. On occasion, I try to post something 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes I can't, and I don't know where I got this from, but Marlo, I came up with this thing that on occasion, on Mondays, sometimes I post 7 things. I just like in an hour. I just set aside an hour. I wake up, I'm like, you know what? Oh, I'm going to talk about this and this. I might have started the articles last week, but I'm going to finish this article, grab a nice picture. I'm going to post that. You know what? Let me write one other article. I'm going to go ahead and repost something from last month. It's a real pretty image. Let me repost that. Oh, I celebrated John and Susie. I'm going to repost that. Oh, I love what they're doing over here at Metro. Let me go post what they did last week. I'm just going to boom, boom, boom. I'm going to hit my little 7 things, and I'm going to let it go. I don't come back on. And the reason I do that is because when you post things, I don't know if this is true for every social media, but I was taught that on LinkedIn, things stay in the atmosphere at least 90 days. I can't verify it, but because I've heard that, I don't get caught that I got to post every day, but I try to at least get a string of things out there so that as they get pushed out, as people look at them, they're kind of getting a range of that I'm supporting other people, that I'm actually writing about my background. I'm not just writing fluff articles. I'm writing maybe a little piece. Sometimes I just write a little quote, but if I write an article, I'm going to write about the power of critical thinking and shifting your culture, or I'm going to write about the power of emotional intelligence. Let me be clear. Yes, I'm doing a little bit of writing, and yes, I'm spending time on ChatGPT. Okay, we can talk about that later, but if you're not using it, call me tonight. Okay, we can have a little class online. Okay, because our writing should be shifted differently now that we have AI. And if you're not using it, I will ask Marlo, can I do that class? I know that they're doing a bunch of AI here, but you have to introduce it to help you generate your leads. Okay. Before I leave this, any questions that you have, guys, put the questions in there. Let Marlo know, and I'll answer those before we leave here. I know it was a lot, but I purposely brought some other pieces up here so that you understood how you're generating leads on social media?
There was another post about
Okay.
why you put those posts on. You post also to promote other businesses.
Yes, yes, yes. Are they stating that or are they asking a question, Marla? Can you tell?
They're stating it.
Excellent. But let me add to that. Let me add to that. On a regular basis, I celebrate other businesses. On a regular basis, I connect with them. Not just any business. Number one, I connect with a lot of other training firms. Okay. Why do I do that, Dina? I do because I know some of you think, but that's your competition. It might be, but there's really enough business for all of us. I connect with other training firms because number one, I love learning. I love learning, and it's a small community. So a lot of times I may already know them, but I celebrate them because learning means that we're helping some other wider group gain access. And I just love that's my calling. So because I'm going to celebrate you because I really love what you're doing. But I'm also going to celebrate you. I'm going to touch your piece. I'm going to like it or push it out because guess what? When you touch someone else's piece, all their people see who you are. I'm not just being nice. I have a purpose. As I connect with them, let's say they got 5,000 followers. Those 5,000 will start to say, well, who was training by design? They never knew me, but because I'm now saying, oh, John, love what you did last week. Thank you. And people, they're sending me private messages. They're like, Dina, no one else from the learning community has supported me. And I have purpose to it, but I'm genuinely happy for them. I want them to succeed because guys, if we begin to really help build others up while we're being built up, that alone is going to bring us leads. That alone is going to bring us business because the world has so many attacks going against it right now. There's a very small group of us that's still nice. I know I'm minister, but I need y'all to get this. Don't, and if you're like, but I'm stressed and I'm worried, part of your stress is because you're not thinking about anybody but you. That's where the passion project comes in. When you decide, so I have a business and I spend a lot of time in the business, but because I also, most of my ministry time, I spend it in DC jail. That's where I go 3 times a month to minister and to give life skills to female residents. But I also run a free computer ministry at our church. We're doing free IT classes every month. Now, let me be clear. There's a lot on my plate, but in the air, but I also sit on these boards free. When you give your time to someone else to help them with their vision, the stress is going to lift off of your stuff. It's reciprocal. When I give, I get a greater measure. When I give to someone else, a greater measure is going to come back. It does, don't look for that person to do it, but you will get a greater measure. Okay. But you got to make some time for someone other than you. I know you need to pay the bills. I know you need to figure out how to get the greater thing. But as you begin to sometimes just work on your heart, just work on how you speak to people. Just work on, it seems petty, but just say thank you more. We got a lot going. Just say thank you more because as I make my business and my personality a safe place, people want to be around you because there is so much stress they're dealing with daily. I hope that makes sense. It doesn't matter what business you have. Everybody can make their business a safe place. Everybody can make their business to a place that the client wants to do business with you. Okay. And they may come to you and say, you know what, John, you're way too nice. And as a result, I can't do business with you. Guess what? No problem. Thank you, Sam. Don't call me back. Okay. Because if that's what they say to you, you weren't supposed to be behind those doors. Okay. I know that was good. Y'all can send me $10 for that. That was yummy. Okay. Next item, Marlo. Anything I need to address before I leave
Uh,
this?
no, there's no questions in the chat, but it made me think about
Yes.
a book that Dr. Robert Wallace wrote from Baltimore. Many of you may
Yes.
know him. He ran for mayor. He writes a lot of books about building strategic alliances with
Yes.
other small businesses
What's
because
the
you
is that
never
the is that the book is that the book title that you want us
that
to look at?
that's like the purpose, like some of the purpose of some of his books about building strategic alliances with other
Wonderful.
businesses because you never know when you're going to need one of your competitors. You may need them to join on a larger contract,
Yes.
and you might need those other their allocated resources to help. So Always
I,
building strategic alliances is very important.
I love it. And it's funny because for a long time, part of our mindset sometimes goes to this place of, but who do I build with? Can I really trust them? And is it worth it? So I just want to say that I have had 2 to 3 long-term powerful relationships that I really trusted, and they went well. But I had two where they really hurt me. They took me for bad. There was a major contract I believe I should have been a part of and with a major federal agency, and it didn't go well. And but let me make sure you're clear. When I finished that whole process and I really sat and made my big list, I had a big list of the errors that Dina made. Okay. I did not do my research carefully. I did not make sure that an NDA was signed up front. I did not make sure that the things I gave them, a lot of times people say, well, can I just pick your brain? We had these conversations and I didn't make sure that there were signed documents in place before I did that. So there were some things they did to me, but there was also, I'm just sending this text to a few more people, guys. I'm sorry. Just want to make sure they can get it. There were a few things that I needed to make sure that I did the next time. So like I said, I may not have done it as well. But I learned from it. But I love that if you guys can go to the books or look online to see, at least get 1 or 2 things by Robert Wallace around the building strategic alliances, because I believe that he also, I love him. So he's doing powerful things in the business world. If he's going to speak on it and teach on it, then I know that there's something that I can learn from that. So I would definitely say, go take a look at that and see if that helps. Okay. If that helps you. I love you. So I love it. So it's coming here. Some of this we've already addressed, but I wanted to put it in a framework and we can actually talk about it a little bit more if we need to. So yeah, we've hit a lot of this, but again, how do I figure out my ideal clients? And we really hit this. I asked you to make sure you know who is it that you serve? What problems do they have? What results are they seeking? Because again, I've already told you to figure out these things. But the thing I didn't touch on is where are they spending their time? Because if I know who I'm serving and I know where they're spending their time, then I need to begin to connect with them. So as you begin to do your research, and again, sometimes I jump on ChatGPT and I ask it, I say, and I love when I do this, and I love when the answer comes back. I may go on ChatGPT some days and say, okay, that I ChatGPT, I have a learning firm because it stores your answers. I have a learning development firm and we're based in Prince George's County, but I'm really trying to figure out where are my ideal clients spending their time. And it may come back and say, well, who are your ideal clients? I may say it's those agencies that have 200 employees or more, or those agencies that are really focused on this and this and this, and where are they spending their time? And it'll spit out some answers, but you can just use Google. But bottom line is we want to know, are there, and I'm going to put a plug in. I wish Miss Michelle was here, but I know that she's a part of a group. Tell me if I'm saying it correctly, Marlo. Is it CompTIA or Compto?
Compto.
So Compto, can you tell me real quick what that is? Are you familiar with it?
I am. I was looking up the acronym for you so I
Oh,
can.
thank you so much. Okay.
So CompTO stands for Conference of Minority Transportation Officials. It is a nonprofit organization founded in 1971 to provide a forum for minority professionals in the transportation industry and to ensure opportunities and maximum participation for minority individuals, businesses, and communities of colors. Its mission is to focus on advocacy, professional development, training, education, leadership development within all modes of transportation.
So when me and Miss Michelle talk sometime just about different things, going with small businesses, and just I'll ask her different questions about some items. Because I met her years ago when I started my business, and I say, there are different groups I should consider. She's always talking about the power of Compto. So I want to just mention that to you. So Compto is one area, but in this area, some of the other groups that you can consider joining or checking to see if they have your ideal client. They're number one. I spend a lot of time with different chambers of commerce, okay? And I want to give my plug on this for a minute because a lot of times people don't really know the role of the chamber and how it can help your business. First item, chambers really started over 100 years ago. They did not initially start to support businesses. They were initially kind of your what do they call it? Your visitors bureau. They were initially the place that when you move to another state, your mom would go by the chamber to find out what school should I sign you up for? You know, can you tell me the best neighborhoods? What are some things? Can you help me find a church? You know, the chamber was kind of that hub. They would help all the communities that they were in. It was about maybe 60 years ago that they began to slip into this business community. But the biggest thing is that chambers are placed in communities and neighborhoods because they have a role to kind of help build up, support, and help the community become healthy. Just in a lot of different ways, but we don't really hear that because we're now so focused on that they're only doing business items. But the chamber is a great source. Now, what you cannot do, you cannot decide. You may say, you know what, I'm gonna go try a chamber out. You cannot just go to the chamber, pay your little yearly membership. It could be 200 to 500, pay your little yearly thing and not go to any events. You have to decide, this chamber is where my clients are. I'm not only gonna just join there, I'm gonna go there and I'm going to look at finding a committee to sit on. Why am I saying that? Because you can just join if you want and pop up when you can, but by joining a committee, let me say this, I've been on committees for years, and it has helped grow my business. The reason you join a committee, you join a committee because you're helping to solve a problem in the community. So I would always do maybe membership. So we're on membership and we're trying to figure out how to get new members. I'm not going you only probably have one membership meeting a month, okay? It is not a heavy lift. You probably give about 2.5 hours of your time a month as you're supporting a group you join, like a chamber. Now, when I go to the membership meeting, I am not talking about all the wonderful things we did. I'm not talking about what I did last week. I'm not talking about the new clients I got. Nope. We are solving the problem to help them get new business. When you operate like that, the people around the table begin to become your strategic partners. That's what Marlo talked about. They become your strategic partners and you don't even know. So this is how it works. We're working on the thing. Nobody says to me, Dina, tell me more about blah, blah, blah. But they look on my website or they'll ask somebody in-house. But what happens is when Susie made us at the table, her friend says, we're really trying to, implement our company. It's a lot of challenges. We need some training. She's going to say, you know what? I'm in a committee with this woman. I'm going to connect you to Dina. She didn't even act like she liked me, y'all, but she's been watching me and I show up. Now, let me say this to you. We don't show up at a committee meeting like we are going to a baseball game. We come into a committee meeting like I'm going to a business meeting, okay? Business casual, you got a suit jacket on, got a little lipstick on to the women, you're early, you don't kind of slide up in there in the last 15 minutes. You show up as if you're treating this like a paid assignment. That is the biggest thing I can say to you. Part of where a lot of my business came from was either somewhere out in the community or somewhere where I was serving. Oh, that was good. And isn't that funny? The very top item says, who do you serve? So what happens is, it's not just that I want to make sure that I'm going to get new business. I am just making time to make that thing better. As I make that thing better, out of that, the reciprocal is going to be, so I'm going to get some business. I can't tell you how soon, but I promise you, business will come to you because people like to do business with who they trust. And guess what? If you're helping me get new business, or if you're on the committee for finance and you're helping me with finance ideas, whatever your committee is, if you are trustworthy and you ain't got to be perfect, just show up and help them. In that process, they're going to tell people who you are. You don't even know they're talking about you. But your name is going to come out of their mouth because they got a chance to watch you. You were solving a problem. Okay. So can anybody put something in the chat to tell me if you've experienced this from some group that you supported, you saw how it helped brought you business?
Still waiting on some responses.
Okay. Some are coming in.
Not yet.
Okay.
But I have hope.
But that's That's okay. That's okay. I believe they're coming in. But let me tell you about the other couple of the groups you can consider. So Comto is one of them. I just know that Miss Michelle talks highly of them. So I like those. But they're chambers. I talked about those, but there are also a lot of associations. There are associations out there, and there are things regarding your particular agency. So let me just say this again. So for me, I'm a learning development firm. So because I'm a training firm, I did not join them yet, but I visit a lot of their things. But there's a professional group called ATD. I think it is the Association of Training Development. They used to have a different name, but they are one of the top agencies in the world that deals with training and development challenges and training and development support. So what happens is, like, I've gone to a few of their things, but they're in different states, Maryland, DC, Virginia. I just haven't picked the one I'm gonna actually join, but I'm definitely gonna join them. And why? Because if that's my industry, then I know that I'm gonna learn things while I'm there. I know that I'm going to gain expertise, but I also know I'm going to meet people there that may need other training support. So again, you're trying to find these things that will help be pipelines for you getting leads. So when you put yourself in the right environment, you're going to begin to get work. A lot of times we fall into the stump of, I'm on social media, but that's not enough. And as real business owners, I need to have a marketing plan that involves social media, possibly chambers, business groups, networking environments, possibly email lists. And we're going to go through some of those, but we're just talking about we're talking about different pieces now of the strategies that we can try to ensure that I am gaining business. Okay. So the last piece here is, again, I'm talking about identifying your clients. Where are they? So we're going to figure out where they are, and then we're going to begin to join some of their groups. Oh, I'm just going to go stop by there to introduce myself. But also we want to make sure they put a note here. I had this note pulled in when I was writing this. There was an example that came that said I should have a framework note to help you with this. Again, we talked about a little bit, but this is how you can think about framing your mission statement or framing your why. They said you can consider this statement. I help blah, blah, blah solve blah, blah, blah so that they can do blah, blah, blah. My example is I help agencies and organizations solve toxic or unhealthy cultures so that they can function more efficiently, more collaborative, more accountable, more engaging in their daily work lives. And because that's kind of a big thing, remember, I got a second tier. The second tier is we also help. Well, I have another second tier where I say we also help build high performing teams, servant leaders, and collaborative workplaces. So I have a couple of them. And sometimes, let me be honest, sometimes I'm like, I cannot remember. And because I'm always looking at it, I pick one of the ones that's in my mind, or I'll pick up another one. That's okay. Just come up with it, work on it, memorize it, but keep studying it and keep refining it. We're growing. We're business owners that's growing. We're growing. Okay. Excellent.
So,
let's think.
so Dina,
yes.
some individuals have put a lot of different organizations in the chat.
Oh, wonderful.
But
I'm
if
assuming
you're
these
looking
organizations they want to recommend that we join. Is that what these are?
Mm-hmm. But
Wonderful.
if anyone on the call is looking for organizations, we have partnerships with over 50 organizations, and we do have that list if you like. So if you like to get that list, I'll put out email hotline account in the chat, and you can reach out to us.
Wonderful. Can you share at least 3 off of that list, or would you prefer not to?
Sure, I can have Shay put that information in the chat.
Okay. No, I meant 3 that the people are putting in there.
Sure. DC
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce.
Excellent.
Latinos in Transit.
Love it.
And Maryland, Washington Contract Compliance Association, Wayne Frazier's group.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And Wayne Frazier has a lot of events. So if you get on his group, you'll get invited to something at least 4 to 6 times a year. Majority of the time they're free, and they're excellent.
Yes, that is good. Thank you, Marla. That's good. So even just search Wayne Frazier's name and Maryland, Washington contractors. Just do that, and then his stuff will come up. And she's right. One of the things he's doing, he just believes it. He believes that I want to get you in the room. I want to give you opportunities. If you don't show up and if you're not ready, that's your fault. But he's going to create an environment, a nice environment with a nice meal for you to come into the room and be ready to connect. He's like, come in there ready, come on time, look good, bring your business cards and go introduce yourself, but know what you sell and know why you sell it. So I'm just kind of confirming what he does. I love that. I love that. Guys, don't forget, you can take a picture of what you see there. You can highlight what you see there. But Ms. Marlowe is also going to share with us the large list that they use of 50 organizations. And let me say this again. I know some of you are thinking, this is work. It is work. Getting leads is not easy. It takes some work. But when you feel like when you're in your zone, it doesn't feel like work. Because you're like, okay, I'm gonna set up Tuesday for Generation Lead Day. I'm gonna look at this, I'm gonna search this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go find a volunteer to help me with this. I'm gonna go get someone to help me with that. Because bottom line is that if you've decided that you're gonna do this and you want to be successful, you gotta work it. You have to work it. And I don't know how I made it to 24 years. I don't know. I wish I could tell you, but when I do think about the couple of nuggets to me that I think really made the most change for me, it was number one, it was my mindset. For a lot of years, for the first, probably, I'm gonna say first 7 years, I don't think I saw myself as a real business owner. I didn't. So I was like, what am I missing? I'm going to meetings, but this, and I had to have a mindset shift where, thank you, even how I worked, my behaviors had to change. My activities, my behaviors, and this is minor, but somebody needs to hear this. Let me say something. I'm gonna tell you something. For the first 3 to 4 years, I was like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing every day? I know I'm gonna have my coffee. I'm gonna have some morning devotion. I'm gonna have some quiet time. But what is it that I really need to work on? And I need y'all to get this. I know somebody's gonna get this. I am in my house watching the stories, Marlo, and I'm doing a little bit of work, but I got the stories on and I'm calling some friends and I'm having 4 cups of coffee and I'm like, oh, this is the life. Until all of a sudden my husband is mad. I'm like, what is he mad for? He was like, do you realize you don't have any business? I mean, it was just a lot. It's hard. It's hard to do this full time. And I'm all over the place. And then I said, I need to go to some meetings. I need to go to some events. I need to go to some networking events. I need to go to some business roundtables. And all of a sudden I'm walking in the room looking like I just got out the bed. Remember, I told you don't do that, but I'm looking like I just got out the bed. And these women were sharp and they were there early and they barely gave me the bat of the eye. And I realized it because I walked in there, they could look at me and tell that I was not serious. And I said, oh, I got to make some changes. I had to shift my mindset, my wardrobe, my habits. So now I was getting up. I said, I'm getting up. I'm making my coffee. I'm like, I'm on the clock at 9 a.m. and I'm cranking. There is no TV on. My husband is here because he's retired. He's in another room doing his thing, but I am doing my thing, getting my stuff done. And sometimes I am working into the evening. Sometimes I take off on Wednesday because I've been up for the past 2 nights, but that's my business. But I'm getting my stuff done. I'm figuring out when to make my business calls, what I'm working on, how I'm doing it. And I'm doing those things because I realized over the years, I have some help in different areas now, but I realized over the years that if I don't shift what I'm doing, if I don't shift my behavior, if I don't act like I am really a business owner, I won't be seen as a business owner. And in that shift came my State Department contract. In my shift came FDA. In my shift came, I got a contract with FAA over COVID. Okay. I don't even know how that happened, but guess what? I'm always on social media with intention. I am not on there pissing around. I am on there with intention and I'm literally deciding what piece am I going to post? What am I going to say? Okay. Let me be clear. I'm not adding stress about it, but I know that I need to do it. Remember those people that I'm connecting with, other trainers? Guess what I do? On Monday, I'm also going to peek. Let me see what John posted. Let me see what Susie did. Because guess what? If they're doing great things and they look like they're doing great things, I want to go see what the competition is doing. It's nothing. That's a part of my marketing plan. I go see what they're doing. Okay. Just be intentional. So one thing that keeps dropping in my spirit, I keep saying I'm gonna wait to the end, but I feel like I need to share with it now. Remember how I said I didn't know what to do? Maybe 7 years into the business, I went to a chamber event from a chamber I belonged to up in Silver Spring. I think it was Greater Silver Spring. Powerful event. Met this woman there. She was a coach. We left that event. That woman called me for 4 years. Did you hear me, Marlo? 4 years.
I heard you.
Okay.
That was quite a connection.
Woo! This is what her message said. Hi, Dina. It was so great to meet you at the chamber event. I'm so glad you made it. Would love to have coffee because I want to hear more about training by design and share a little bit about what we do at whatever her action coaching or whatever. Let me know if we can speak. That was week 1. Maybe 2 months later. Hi, Dina. This is Angie. I just want to let you know, I thought she was playing a repeat. She repeated the same thing. Y'all, she did that for 4 years. For 4. And I said, why she keep calling me? Now, mind you, I'm in my house having a pity party. Said, I can't believe I can't get business. And, I don't understand what's going on. I feel like I need a coach. And I heard this little voice say, well, maybe you could call back the coach that's been calling you for 4 years. And that made me, I said, what? Let me call this woman. Because in my mind, it was always, I can't do it's going to cost me some money. That woman did not say no more money. She said, let's have coffee. I called her. We met. She had done so much homework for me, on me, that when I sat down, she was like, Dee, let me tell you something. She said, I give a 45-minute free session. She said, I want to have coffee. I want to take you to lunch. Let's have lunch. And she said, tell me what you think your problem is. And I'm going to tell you what I think it is. And we had a power. She changed my life in 12 minutes. I had 45 with her, but the first 12 minutes, she showed me my issues and she said, there are 3 things that I do every week as a business owner. And I just feel like I want to share those with you because I can tell you're trying to make a transition into greater and you're not sure how to get there. And I was like, what? And she said, let's go back to the fact of how many times I called you. Marlo, I said, no, she did. And she said, oh, you don't need to be embarrassed, but I want you to understand that when a person is serious about business, they act like they're serious. I call my people often because I'm trying to make them a lead. This thing I'm going to tell you, we can end class after this thing, okay? I just want you to know that the reason we meet with people and the reason we follow up with people is because they're teaching us nuggets. They're teaching us information. What Angie said to me is, there are 3 things that I do, and these 3 things help bring me business. I'm going to tell you those 3 things right now. There's no slide for it, but it just hit me that I need to share with you. Item number 1. She said, until you have the money to have a business development person or business development team, you're it. So because you're the business developer, as a business developer, every week you should be doing business development items. I said, okay, what does that include? She said, for her, she said, I make 10 calls a day. Did y'all hear that? She said, I make 10 calls a day. That's her business development thing for the week. And I'll come back into how she does it. She said, but in addition to making 10 calls a day, she said, I also attend 2 to 3 large events a month. Okay? Excuse me. So 10 calls a day, 2 to 3 large events a month. That's her first thing. I'm going to come back to that. Number 2, she said, the second thing I do is I work on financial matters every week. Okay? And she said, why is that important? She said, it's important because if you don't work on the thing is not going to grow. So I said, what do you mean financial matters? She said, I'm either sending out invoices, checking on why you late paying me, checking my accounts, going to meet new leads of banks, new executives at banks to figure out, do I need to move my bank? Because if I'm not getting loans at my current bank or having a relationship, I need to go somewhere. So I'm either going to speak with them, but I'm also checking to see what are some finances out there that I can gain to grow my business. But she said, every week I'm doing something financial to keep me up on what I need for my business. All this brings all these things she does for leads. And the last thing she does is she says, I do administrative things every week. She said, why do I do that? Because when we're disorganized in paper, we're disorganized in the mind. Woo! We can shut down class today, can't we, Marlo?
Amen.
Marlo said, I didn't say it. Marlo said it. But that thing, I said, what? She said, Dina, there's a lot on your plate. And then she called me out. She said, the last thing I'm going to say to you is I researched you and I know you're a minister, but it is not your job to save the world. I said, oh my God. She said, you have been given a business and your business needs for you to elevate your behavior. If you want leads, act like it. Okay. So let's go back to her first thing for me, the business development. I said to her, I said, I don't mean any harm. If you're really going to share, I needed some details. You're calling 10 people a day. First of all, who in the world are you calling? What are you saying? Okay. And what happens if they don't answer? Because I just wanted to know. She said, Dina, first of all, this piece I'm going to tell you, I'll talk about the spreadsheet at the end of my presentation, but I'm going to talk about it right now. Some of you may have spent money on a tracking system. Nothing wrong with it. You can use that system. Because I have an IT background, I built my system. I built an Excel spreadsheet, and then my Excel book has many components, but the first one is lead generation. So once she told me that, I created my own spreadsheet. She said, you need some way to capture the people you're going after, number one. She said, Dina, she said, I don't care if you do a Word document or Excel or you purchase a system. She said, I use an Excel spreadsheet. On my spreadsheet, I have the following columns. I have contact name, first and last name, business name, phone number, date I contacted them, referred by, capability statement sent, and meeting date set. Again, first and last name, business name, phone number. I missed the thing, the date that you met them, referred by, who referred you to them, capability statement sent, and message, and meeting date set. I said, why is it important? She said, most business owners are all over the place, and they don't even remember the last time they called John. They don't remember the last time they called Susan. So by having this spreadsheet, she said, every month I'm updating my sheet. But she said, let's act like it's the beginning of the year and I'm starting my sheet. She said, remember, I'm going to call 10 people each day. I said, who are the people you're calling? She said, remember, these are who you're calling. You're calling family members, old partners, people you used to work with, the people you met at the last networking event. If you've gone to 3 events and you haven't called anybody back, you need to put all those names in the sheet. What she does the beginning of the year, she starts this massive list with all these names in front of her. Because let's say her aunt has a business, or her uncle just purchased a large firm, similar to what she does. She calls him. She says, I'm not calling him to play. I'm calling him saying, Uncle Sam, I don't know if you remember, I started my business last year. I'm doing this and that, but I would love to chat with you to figure out, is there anyone in your network you can introduce me to? Can we chat about it? We have some new services. Don't let him see you as his niece. Let him hear your greatness when you ask him, can we meet? Because I'm trying to introduce my new services to your network. Have a couple of buzzwords so that your uncle can transition to be part of your lead generation referral source. But whatever names he gives, they make it on your list. You're just putting all the names on the list. If I went to an event, I got 20 names, I'm adding them to the list. If I used to work in an agency and 3 of them told me to give them a call, I'm adding them to the list. Okay. If it won't be drama, you can add your ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend on the list. But if it's drama, keep them off the list. But if they're doing something great and you don't hate them, call them, because they may say out of guilt, they may give you business. I'm just giving you some ideas, right, Marla? I'm just giving you ideas. Okay. But don't call anybody that's going to be drama, but just make the phone calls. So she makes calls every day. I said, what happens if you call the 10 people and they don't all answer? She said, great question. She said, if I make 10 calls, if 5 answer, she said, Dina, you already know what I'm going to say. I said it to you for 4 years. She literally says, I have my card in front of me with my little speech, and I say the same thing. If 5 don't answer, I leave them the great message I left you, and I say, give me a call. If they didn't answer, she puts a note on her checklist. I forgot to give you, there should be a column that says answer. If they didn't answer, she puts a check mark there to let her know that they didn't answer. And then she will reach back out to them 2 weeks later. But she's making calls. She's making calls. And I said to her, tell me why you're making these calls. And is it helping you? She gave me the stat. She said, Dina, I make 10 calls a day, Monday through Friday. I'm attending 2 to 3 large events. And I'm doing that because by the end of every month, I normally have somewhere between 5 to 7 new clients. Make sure you know who a client is to her. She does training. Back then, she was charging $3.50 an hour. That's back then. She was charging $3.50 an hour. She said, Dina, I'm not calling people that want to meet with me one time next Friday. I'm calling people that want to meet with me either 1 whole month, at least 4 to 5 times in 1 month, or they want to meet with me for 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. I'm not playing with anybody that wants to talk one time, because I had to set my goal so that they know I'm not playing business and that I need a certain dollar amount coming in. As a result, this is what I'm expecting. So she's serious. She's making her calls. She's going to events. So that's her big piece, is her business development piece. The next piece is the financial, and the last piece is administrative. Honestly, we could leave class right there on that because I know that was yummy. But any questions on that before we go to the one in front of me? That's a lead development piece called cold calling. Any
No
questions,
questions in the
Marlo?
chat.
Excellent. Excellent. Good stuff. Now, magnetic messaging. Even when we're calling, even when we're meeting people, we want to make sure that our stuff is clear. So the comment here says your business message should be clear and not clever. Speak to the pain points. Again, we're just going a little bit deeper and you helping your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? You should highlight transformation and results. And remember that what your business is doing is you're ultimately trying to build trust. No matter what service we have, no matter what business we have, you don't need to be excellent at speaking excellent. You need to be excellent at building relationships. You need to be excellent at building an environment of trust while you introduce your business. Because if you really operate with integrity and you really operate with clear messaging, you're starting that basic relationship of building trust. When they call you back to ask you a few more questions, again, don't get into, I got to close it today. Just answer their questions. And then also, I didn't put it up here, but at the top, I want you to also start to become their problem solver. Okay. I don't mean hold their hand and minister. I just mean that when John calls you and says, Dina, tell me again about some of the classes you're delivering. And then he's talking. And remember, when I met him in person, John shared that his wife was job searching. Okay. I'm just giving an example. At the end of our conversation, I'm going to say, John, I know you're busy, but how is Angie's job search going? Number one, he's going to be so tickled that I remembered. Because, we're so selfish. We're so about it. He's like, Dina, I said, yeah. She was looking in this and did she find something? Because if not, I got a few people that are recruiters. I love to introduce them if you like. They may or may not get the job, but as we begin to just try to be a small problem solver, we are building trust in the highest form, Okay. So again, for this piece right here, make sure your business message is clear. At the bottom, I'm giving you two statements regarding what's considered weak and what's considered strong. Let me move this out of my way. Okay. Some of the weak comments are for those of you that have consulting services. If I say, I just have a consult, you're at an event and people are chatting and Susan walks up to you and just says, Dina, tell me about your business. I can say, well, I offer consulting services and we're doing a lot in different areas. And, it's been a great time. That's weak because she has no idea as to what type of consulting that I do. Remember how I gave an example? We need to give this type of detail. This second one is kind of lengthy. It could be some pieces of this. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, but one of them that I found says, I help small business owners increase their revenue by improving their customer experience and retention strategies. I think that does speak clearly, but it kind of scared me. Okay. But I pulled it out of some samples that I read. So you could go to that level or maybe shorten it just a little bit. But I do like the words. I do like the words revenue. I like the words customer experience. That's a big buzzword right now. I like the word customer experience and I like the word retention. So kind of think about how you can maybe make yours a little bit longer to be strong. And then one item that I put here was one that I use, as I say, I help agencies and organizations create healthy and thriving workplace cultures. Now, there's a lot behind that, and that's okay. If I meet them at an event and I tell them that, if they're not interested, they'll say, oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you. I'm going to go get a drink. Okay, that's fine. But Sam may say, oh my goodness, I love that. I'm going to get a drink. But when I come back, can you tell me a little bit more about how you do this? Because we have some challenges in our culture. I'm thinking bling, there we go. But like I said, we're just having a conversation. I don't need to get to the bottom level unless there's an interest in the conversation. Okay. Excellent. What are some top lead generation strategies? Some of these we've already hit, so we can talk a little bit more about it, but I just wanted to tell you something. So again, we talked about the social media posts, but I'm gonna get into these pieces. Make sure your posts are clear and concise, and the things you should be posting should be something educational. You can tell a story. It can be value driven. Again, there's my client success stories. It can be about family, but again, keep it short and tie it back to that. The reason you're sharing this is because your family has been such an intricate part of your business, blah, blah, blah. It can just be something small and short, but it's okay to share something, not extremely personal, but you can celebrate your children. There's not a problem with that. But again, let the bulk of what you do be about your business. You can share short professional videos on social media, you should be sharing some type of tips. I'm always trying to also share quotes on learning or quotes on leadership or quotes on healthy cultures, because that's what my business does. We are supposed to post what relates to the narrative about what we're doing. A lot of people say to me, like, there's a woman that I met recently and I'm helping her do some things on LinkedIn. And I was saying to her in our second meeting, I was saying to her, I like to do this in my content, I'm addressing the differences with her now between what a post is versus what an article is, and to share with you in LinkedIn. A post is when you just begin to write a description of something and maybe grab a picture and hit post. That's a post. An article is when you maybe take that same thing. I might have been writing a little bit about critical thinking and the culture shift. Articles get more attention. Articles look more professional, and articles, I believe, go out further because more people touch them. So I may take the same thing in a post some days and say, you know what, I'm gonna make that thing an article on Monday. The difference is I have to click on the button that says write an article. This is in LinkedIn. I can click on the thing that says write an article. I can take that same little bit of text from the post, pop it into the article, but I'm gonna go add about 4 more pieces to it. If I don't know those pieces, guess what? I'm gonna go over to ChatGPT and say, I just wrote a short post on critical thinking and the culture shift. Can you give me 5 more points to add? Boom. I don't use it just as is, but I copy it and put it in here, and I'm going to move it around. I'm going to maybe remove out one of the pieces, add maybe one more sentence of mine, put it in the right font, close the article. It took me 25 minutes to do an article, but that article, when you push out an article, because it looks more professional, because it stands out, it has a nice image, it goes further, people want to touch it. I'm now getting some additional potential leads touching it because they think I spent hours writing that article when I really did it in 20 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stay right there for a minute. Any questions over posts versus articles? Any questions about the importance of an article?
And in the chat, but someone is offering help.
Okay, I
Says
love it.
great advice.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And sometimes people don't know. Sometimes people say, well, I'm just writing posts. It's an article, a big deal. Let me be clear. You don't have to write new articles. But if you've decided that today, you know what? I'm going to step up my behavior. I'm going to step up what I'm doing. Then start writing some articles. And I promise you, you'll start to see all these people coming now, touching your things because it looks so much more professional. Okay. So again, we can do a short video, but also you can write a tip. You can write a 2-line tip. If you wrote a tip this morning that just said to me, just want to remind you, if you're trying to lose weight, don't forget your protein, your this, your that is most important. Let our business help you do blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at that thing and say, what? I can exercise in 3 minutes at my desk. It's because again, that person was probably a personal trainer or somewhere in the health field. So if she's writing little tips like that a couple times a week, guess what people will say? They'll be like, I need her phone number. Because again, she didn't ask anything. She didn't say, click here to pay this. She didn't say, do this. She just said, this is what I do. I want to make sure you're healthy. We are supposed to be writing stories to help our client learn who we are, but also we want to give them what they call drippings or raindrops of who we are. If I give them a little nugget of who I am and what I do, at some point when they need my services, they will come to me because I gave them free advice along the way. Okay. Also on here at the bottom, I remind you of a couple of tips regarding some things to do in LinkedIn. I'm assuming that all of y'all are out there, but if you aren't, that's okay. If you're out there, make sure you update your profile probably at least maybe 2 to 3 times a year. Just go peek at it to make sure that things are current, that it looks good, and that you still do what you say in your profile. When you first come into LinkedIn, there's a banner. Many of you don't have anything in the banner. That's a waste of marketing. Your banner should have some wonderful picture of either, it could be a picture of you and your service. It could be a picture of you in the classroom. It could be a picture of you climbing a mountain. Whatever you do that represents who you are, use the banner because some people are tired. They don't like to read a lot. But if I can come into LinkedIn and see a powerful picture of what you're doing, I'm going to write down your name to reach out to you later. So use the banner for something that adds to your brand. Okay. Also, make sure that you are reviewing and updating your headline. Your headline is right below your name. My headline right now has the certifications because they're new, but I also share, I think I shared that I'm a global speaker powerful trainer, and something else. It's a third thing, you know. But some I update them. I probably update them twice a month because I'm like, because I'm looking at my competition. I'm like, let me go see what they're putting, and I'm gonna come change mine. I'm not changing it because I feel like my stuff was bad, but I'm like, I just want to add some sugar to it. You just change it. It's okay. It's your time, you know. And sometimes just changing it will also change how you see yourself. Okay, but go see what your competitors are doing and make some changes. These are all things that's going to bring you leads. They're going to bring you leads. Okay, relationship-based networking. Let me make sure you're clear. We've been talking about a lot of relationship networking from the beginning. I didn't call it always a specific thing, but I gave you information. So some particular things and some particular buzzwords that people are using regarding relationship-based networking are listed here. We need referrals. Marlo already kind of introduced it. We need strategic partnerships. We need to be involved with community engagements, and we need to be able to take our social media to an in-person transformational meeting. So let's go back to referrals. We have not because we ask not. I should be asking for referrals every month, if not every week. Who do I ask? I should ask family, friends, mentors, people at my church, people in the community, people at the groups that I attend, those networking groups I attend. I should be there when they say, well, how can I help you? You can say to them, you know what, I really need, or I would be honored to have some great referrals. If there's some people I can meet with you, don't ever act like you need somebody to just hand you business. Just say, I would just be honored to have a meeting. If you could just introduce me to, I know you said you know the head of blah, blah, blah. I love to meet with them. If possible, could you refer me? We have all they can say is yes or no. It's okay. Just ask. Strategic partnerships. Remember, I told you from when you join a committee, they become your strategic partnerships. When you meet people and you begin to do something for them, when y'all work on a project together, strategic partnerships. A lot of different ways. And Marlo recommended that you think about getting some of the books by Robert Wallace. He writes on strategic partnerships. We want to make sure, go look at those books, get a book. And if you don't want to get the book yet, go to ChatGPT and tell them about the business you have and ask them, can you recommend 5 strategic partnerships I should consider? Just ask them. You have not because you asked not. Community engagements. We got to spend time in the community. I need to spend time supporting things around where I live and where I work. I need to spend time. You know, if you have children, you should be at their events prepared to do business. I'm not saying let your children be first, but there should be cards in your pocket. Again, you can have on jeans, but you need to look, you just need to look good. You need to look like you're excited and just be prepared to chat. When someone says, you know, Dee, I haven't seen you in a while, what you been doing? I am not going to say cleaning my house. I have been busy training. I've been busy shifting culture. I'm not going to be haughty, but I'm going to share. I'm going to toss out a couple of buzzwords, Marlo, so that when they leave, I'm going to be on their mind. I'm going to be on their mind. Okay. Think about that. But the biggie on this page is social media transformations. Let's have a chat. We don't care how many people like our stuff. Liking your stuff isn't paying your bills. Liking your stuff isn't giving you a check. We want to operate on social media from this day forward to the place that I am sharing what I do, edu-selling, teaching them who I am, teaching them the power of leadership training, teaching them the power of speaking, teaching them what happens when you master critical thinking skills. I'm going to do such a thing on social media that they want to get to know me. I don't mind that you like me, but once they say like, if I don't go behind the scenes and send them a little note, what should my note say? John, thank you so much, for spending some time there. I see you're doing something similar. I'd love to, hear more about your stuff. See what he says. John, I loved it. I love to have virtual coffee. Sometimes I don't want to leave my house. Okay. Now, there are times I have to, but if I don't have to, John, I love to have a virtual cup of coffee to just hear more about what you're doing. That's the start of the transformation. Okay. John, I understand that you mentioned you were going to go to this event next Friday. Is it open to the public? I'd love to attend. I want to go to that event to meet other people, but guess what? I'm going to find John in the corner and say, John, thank you for inviting me. I'd love to sit down and maybe have lunch next week to chat about our businesses. We are trying to transform our likes into business. I have to be intentional. I got to put a comment. I know we don't like rejection. So guess what? If I say, John, I'd love to have coffee. If John says, not interested, sometimes they say it to me, not interested, or I don't really do that. I'm not the decision maker. No problem, John, but I thank you so much. It's great to meet you. You don't need to have rejection. You got too much. Let him go to the next one. we just keep moving along. We have a business and we are great, and they just have not encountered our greatness yet. We just keep moving along. This is the process. The process of transformational out of social media means I need to continue to have a process that each time I meet someone or they like me and they begin to put comments. Liking means one thing, but if you put a comment, I'm definitely going to make sure I respond back to say a little something. And I'm ultimately going to start to build the conversation to either virtual coffee or in-person coffee. Because if you find out that there's some people, I found out, I was like, oh my God, they're in Cheltenham. I'm like, I'm in Cheltenham. And sometimes just say, you know what, John, I don't know if you're in Cheltenham Woods, but I'm literally, because nobody's in Cheltenham. I'm in Cheltenham. I would love to chat with you, over coffee, maybe down in Clinton or Upper Marlboro. What are your thoughts? Because we're trying to get remember the coach that met with me that told me those three things. She said, Dina, push to get in person or push for virtual. She said, things happen when you get in the room with someone that is considering doing business with you. Okay. Get in the room. So I want y'all to respond to this item in the chat for me. Some of the lead magnets that are out there. This is that you're growing your business, but you're really trying to grow your list to really begin to see people turn into paid leads. They really a lot of companies recommend that we have these things called lead magnets. And a lead magnet is that I give away something free that has a powerful nugget. And I'm moving past social media now to another strategy. A lead magnet is that I create something that gives great information about what I do, who I am, what my business does, in hopes they will click on the button that says, please click here for my free newsletter, or please click here for my free guide on how to shift your department in their critical thinking skills, or how to shift your department into great customer service skills, or click on my free template here on how to manage your leads. I want to make sure that I begin to have some of these. You create the item and then you begin to probably mail out the item or send the item via text or send the item out via LinkedIn, but you want to send the item out to a list of people, and any of those that want that free information, they have to click on it to give you their email. So what they're doing is they're giving their email, but they're also saying secretly, I want to hear a little more about your business. Who on here has mastered any of these? Who is using the newsletters, the blogs? Please put something in the chat to see if anybody's using these lead magnets.
Nothing yet. Give them a minute.
Okay. And while we're waiting for your response, the purpose of the lead magnets is to exchange value for contact information. That's what we're doing. Because a person can just give you their email, but when you give them something for this, you're not just, I know some people say to me, I'm not giving away my stuff free. Guess what? You're just giving away a tip. You're giving away a strategy. And honestly, we're saying give away, but you're really not giving anything. You're really showcasing your skill set. People are not going to buy from you unless they trust you. So if you can't give me a little something for the opening door for us to build our trust relationship, why should I do business with you? So quick item, quick story is over, I think this, yeah, over COVID, this gentleman was following me. And I saw him liking my stuff, and he would ask me a few questions, but then he got serious. He started asking me something like every other month. And he would ask questions like this: Dean, I see you're doing this. So what type of training do you like to do? I answered the question. Okay. 2 weeks later. So who are some of your clients? Now, all of this is on my LinkedIn, okay? But the fact that he was asking questions, I said, oh, he's interviewing me. Who are some of your clients? Have you been in federal? Yes, sir. These are the agencies. Some of their responses or some of their testimonies are on my testimonial page. You can see this. He's like, okay. And I said, John, do you think we can? I love to have virtual coffee. Now we're in COVID. Love to have virtual coffee. Do you have time? No, too busy. Can't make a phone call. So I need Marlo, I'm feeling a certain way. Okay. Because I'm thinking to myself, you've now asked me 3 sets of questions, but you mean to tell me you can't make time for a phone call? So I'm kind of, let me be clear. I know they're interviewing us, but we're also interviewing them. So I'm having a thought of, I'm not sure if I even want to do it, but I'm just still doing my thing. He comes back maybe with 3 more questions, and we're 6 months in now. I'm tracking it. We are 6 months in of this kind of thing. But let me make sure you're clear. Because he's still respectful, he hasn't crossed the line. Some of them he hasn't crossed the line. I'm still answering his questions, but I am a little frustrated. At the 6-month mark, he says, do you think you have time for a call? No. He says, you know what? I know I've been talking to you about a class, but I'm kind of thinking I may want you to run a conference for me. And a conference, I'm thinking you can't even have a phone call with me. I was like, no, sir. I said, you want to discuss a conference? We need to have a phone call. You don't have time for a call? We can end this. Have a great day. The next thing he says, here's my number. Let's pick a time to call. 2 hours later on the call, he's now complaining about all the things happening at the agency, all the challenges and all the stuff. But he's like, I don't know if I have a budget yet. But 2 months later, he comes back and says, I'm ready. And out of that, I got a couple of classes from him and they were top dollar. And we never met in person. I got a federal contract. He courted me for 6 months, had a call, and then courted me for 2 more months, but it turned into a federal contract. I got a state contract that way as well. I'm not telling you to do this stuff because it's not important. I'm telling you that people watch us, they want to do business with us, and they have their eye on us. Okay? So think about how you can utilize these things. I'm almost done. I am watching my time.
So
I hope you
wait,
guys.
we got a bunch of stuff in the chat now.
Okay, let's do
Okay.
so.
So some are use a newsletter quarterly.
Yes.
One said, great idea. We haven't tried this yet, but need to get on this. Another one says we are arguably working on setting up a drip sequence via resend.com and other AI tools to support this. We should have been doing it years ago. Now is always better than never.
Yes.
Another comment, it's been really helpful to stay in front of clients and to give them updates on what we are working on. It's also a nice community to share architectural solutions to surprise conditions. We have been using Constant Contact, which has worked pretty well and has AI tools integrated already. And then the last comment, I'm just getting started. These are great ideas.
Wow. Oh, love it. So a couple of things I want to say real quick. Excuse me, the person that put the note that said they're using the newsletter, if you don't mind, can you come back and give us one more note and let us know, is your newsletter monthly, weekly, or kind of let us know how often you're putting your newsletter out? I just want people to get an idea. So please do that if you don't mind.
It says quarterly.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Quarterly. Okay. To the person that said, I wish we had done some of these things years ago. Let me tell you something. We all say that probably every couple of months. And that's just how life is. Let me be clear. I wish I was a better mother years ago. I wish I was a better wife. Yeah, I've been married 30, so I don't know, 35, 36 years. And I want to be better. I think that's the human desire, is that we want to be better. We want our business to be better. But the bottom line is, as you said, guess what? We're in now, and I know better now. So one of the things I want to say is that everything I'm sharing with you, they're different nuggets. Some people are going to pick up on this, some will pick up on that. I just want each of you to make a commitment that you will implement 2 things, just 2 new things starting tomorrow in your business, just 2, but that you will keep this, that you'll print this, keep it in front of you, and just begin to let it develop over the year, that before 2026 ends, you're going to be stronger in your lead generation. Because guess what? Better gets leads, better keeps us in business, okay? But also, better also changes lives. Our business is a design to change lives. As Marlo said, it's building generational wealth. That's important. It is building legacy. That's important. But also, every day, the thing that we were created to do, we were given that thing, possibly from birth. But when we execute that thing, somebody's going to be changed. Somebody's life can be changed if we follow up with the thing we do. So just keep that in mind. We don't have to do it perfect. We just have to do it. Okay. As we wrap up, I got a couple more things I'm gonna cover, but we have cranked. We are doing some good stuff, but we got a couple more things we're gonna wrap up. So my newsletter person, she really just kind of handled this one. So email marketing is kind of also aligned with the newsletter. With email marketing, there are a lot of things. I know we have all these other new things. So as a result, people think that this is dead and gone. People are like, I said on emails, but honestly, an email and a piece of mail in the USPS mail are still the top marketing pieces. You know why? Because a lot of it is free. It's our time, and people are still looking at their mail and they're still looking at email. So that means if you don't have a good email list, you can't send out something quickly. I know we like the idea of adding a video and jumping on LinkedIn or jumping on AI, or building this system. It's nothing wrong with that. But guess what? How cheap it is to build a massive email when you can send them good stuff every month to build up new leads. So that means start the list, nurture the list, be consistency. Just send something. If you're not ready for once a month, as this woman is doing or gentleman is doing, they send us something. Send something cool, but just send something that looks nice. Have a nice logo, have a nice picture of yourself, have a nice colorful theme. Just make sure your stuff is spelled correctly. And don't worry about having 10 topics. If you have 3 good topics, good. Just send something so that they know who you are and why you're in business. Because when they see something, it stays in their mind. The colors will stay in their mind. Have something pretty there too. Okay. Just work on that email list. Another piece for strategies, workshops and webinars. I don't get paid to do these sessions, but I do free sessions all over town. I support the SBDC for DC, for Maryland. I'm now supporting Metro. Again, I do free training through my church. I'm doing, free things at the prison. Whenever you give of your time, some weeks I have 6 free things, and in my mind, Marlo, sometimes I say this is out of order. Why do I have 6 free classes when I need funds? But within a month, stuff will pop in, because when you give of something, a greater measure comes back. I promise you guys, a greater measure comes back. So think about, can you do a workshop for someone? Think about, can you put on a webinar somewhere? Because let me tell you what's going to happen today. Some of you may reach out to me for business, and that's wonderful. Hopefully paid business. Others may say, you know what? My girlfriend down the street or my old coworker said he wants to train his team. Some of you are going to call me and say, you know what, Dina, this person, is interested. Can you give them a call? But even if you don't do that, guess what I know? I am sowing seeds into however many people. I didn't get to look at the number. I'm sowing seeds into each of you that I know are going to blossom. I know they're going to blossom. So because I'm doing that, I already have greater measure coming to me. It doesn't have to come from you, but it will come to me. I need y'all to know that, because that is what happens. Greater comes. Greater comes. So whether you do a workshop or a webinar, something that you're doing, think of something you could add to your marketing flow that will help bring you business. So maybe you'll speak somewhere free. Maybe you'll give out, some small thing, a sample of something that you do you might put a nice cover letter on or something. You might put a nice logo on it, so that you go drop it off somewhere so they get a sample of your homemade chocolate chip cookies, or get a sample of something. Just give it to them, go about your business. Again, whatever I can do to, here, go right here. How can I turn my attention, something that I'm doing, into a lead? Okay, so we looked at webinars and we looked at workshops, we looked at newsletters and all those things, and now we're here. This is the overall concept. To ultimately turn attention into leads, I need to begin to keep my focus. So under the basic flow, I need to think about, how do I attract people? I'm attracting them through content, through networking, also through workshops, through webinars. I'm doing all kinds of things to attract people. But how am I capturing them? Am I capturing them through? Remember, I'm just using a spreadsheet to do a lot of my caption. Am I going to do a spreadsheet? Am I going to do a worksheet? Or am I going to have some other type of lead magnet item? How am I? Well, let me say this. I don't want to confuse you. When I'm making my phone calls, and because I don't have a slide in here for cold calling. When I'm making phone calls, or when I go to events and I have all these business cards, I need to capture that information, but that information is something that I have in my hands. So if I have something in my hands to capture, but I need to maintain it, I need to put it in a spreadsheet or a Word document or a database, wherever you want to put them. You got to put them somewhere so that you can follow up on them. But in addition, if I want to get new leads and they're not in my hands, they're not related to a phone call, then I can go use one of the lead magnets that I talked about. You can use the free newsletter. You can use the what's it called? The guide. You can use the, let me see, it was guides, it was newsletters, checklist. I can give away something free and say, I love to give you this checklist on how to use Excel, because we do tech training too. Here's a checklist on the top 20 formulas in Excel. I know people want that. The top 20 formulas in Excel. So I can give away that little checklist and say, but I need to get your email. So that's called capture. So think about how you're going to attract new business, how you're going to capture it, and then how are you going to nurture your email and follow up. And the last piece is how are you going to convert them? Will you have something at the bottom of your newsletter that says, if you're interested in doing blah, blah, blah with us, please click here and set up your meeting. If I'm meeting with them, how am I going to take what they're interested in? How am I going to say to them, John, it's been so awesome speaking with you on Zoom. And I know we're going to have coffee next week, but I just wanted to get an idea. Do you have a training budget set aside? Matter of fact, One question I like to ask is, John, when is the last time you've trained your team? I don't mean any harm, y'all. If he has not trained his people in the last 20 years, I don't mean no harm. I'm pretty sure he's not going to give me no money. Okay. So there's 2 to 3 questions you could ask somebody to figure out, is this a qualified lead? Because I don't mean no harm. I am married and happy. We are not having coffee because you want to look at me in person past Zoom. So we got to do some research before I come meet you in person, because I don't have time to be sitting in front of you and then you act a certain way because you think, because a couple of men, I met with them and all of a sudden the conversation is, I wish something about us having a glass of wine. The devil is a liar. Marlo, there's nothing, I don't wear anything that tells you I'm hitting on you, and my dialogue is not hitting on you. So if something went out of whack, I got to end it or bring it back in. Okay, I don't know who need to hear that. We got to be careful. We got to be careful. We got to be professional, and we got to decide. Here's my word right here, captured. What are you capturing? Even to my single women, be careful. Be careful what you wear to the meeting. Be careful what you say. I'm not saying you can't possibly date them. But if your number one thought is, I want his business, then don't be muddy. If you get muddy, they think it's going to get muddy when the contract is signed. I don't know who need to hear that, but I'm just telling you, I have walked away. I walked away from $1 million something, because I was like, I was going to sign a paper, and I was like, I can't, there's a pit in my stomach. I feel like I'm going to throw up. And guess what I'm not doing? I will not sign the paper. And here we are at 11:57. I know somebody need to hear that, because guess what? We are wonderful, and because we're powerful, and we're intelligent, and we're creative. And I don't have to do something unethical to get business. How about that? How about that? So believe it or not, this just my last slide. I'm so tickled with myself. I never finish on time. Okay, Marlo? So I am tickled. So at the bottom it says, what processes do you guys need to develop to update your system? And then, where are you losing prospects? Think about that. Where you losing prospects? So as we wrap up, I think I have one more. Okay, here we go. I need you guys to create your 30-day lead generation plan. How do you do that? How do you do that? Remember, you can use an Excel spreadsheet, you can use a Word document, but I need you to think about how you're going to either capture these, or how you capture the phone calls. But on this page, this is a piece I want you to spend time on, where you can begin to identify what are you going to do differently immediately. I meant to put articles there too, but you can say, am I going to do 3 to 5 social media posts, articles, and or posts? Make sure I have meaningful conversations, make sure I do value-driven messages, and the bottom line is that sometimes you're not sure what to write about. Be clear about your services and write about your services. Be clear about your products, write about your products, write about your value, and just make a decision that I'm going to gain new business. As we wrap this up, the core message is: clarity attracts the right clients. Consistency creates opportunities. Relationships drive business. Systems convert leads into clients. And character, passion, and purpose help you keep the business. I can get a lot of business, but if I'm not operating with high level of character or high level of integrity, I will lose it. And the last thing is how can Training by Design help you? Can I give you additional training, paid? Do you need business development consultant support, or do you need LinkedIn support? Whatever the case is, my information is on here. Reach out if I can help you, but I just wish you major success as you step into your greater level of your new clients, Marlo, I am done.
Thank you, Dina. There's a question in the chat.
Okay.
I like the idea of giving something physical away. However, 99% of my clients are virtual and I never meet them in person. What do you suggest as a giveaway that can stay in front of them?
Ooh. So you got 2 choices. Number one, you can have a nice giveaway. Those things we talked about, the guides or the newsletter or a blog, you can actually give them something that is a how-to, something motivation. It could be something that you write about what you do. You can send them something that looks very pretty and you can send it to them online. You can send it to them in an email, you can send it to them in LinkedIn, but you can also, depends on your budget. I love a good something in the mail. You know, people these days are sending different things. My sister has a nonprofit and she's about to do an event and all her people are virtual. She ordered a beautiful candle, but the box is even prettier. The box has a beautiful bow on outside of it, and her business name is encased on the box. And she's sending it to each one of them. Right now it's only 50, but you know, it was a little chunk of change. But when you get this box in the mail, it says elegance, it says new business, it says I trust you, it says I want to be in business with you. So you could send the physical thing via mail, something overnight, or you can send something through LinkedIn or through email. Hope that helps.
That was great advice. Thank you, Dina. This has been awesome. I'm not a business owner, but I learned a lot of things that I can use on a professional and a personal level. Wait till my
Yes.
son gets home.
Oh,
We're gonna have
poor
a talk
son.
about college in the fall, about
Yes. I
defining
love
your
it.
new why.
That's it. Marlo,
And
that's
choosing your
it.
friends, because you
Come
talked
on.
about choosing clients. Well, you got
Come
to choose them
on.
friends that might mess up trying to define your new why.
Yes. Come on. I'm telling you, I don't, you know, I'm gonna say this. I know you're gonna laugh, but I'm telling you, I say this in every session. I don't mean any harm, but this is important to me. I tell people, if you don't see my cleavage, I should not see yours. And I just believe in that. And people say, well, you're not single. I know, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think what it gets muddy because as great as I may be, if I enter a room, I don't care what if I enter a room with that exposed, I don't really know if I can trust your conversation. And I just think sometimes we got to elevate our integrity and elevate our mind. And let me say this last piece. I meant to open this. Let me just say this more, and then I'll be done. I want to say something because this is real. Sometimes how we operate in our businesses are attached to how I feel in my mind. So this is real. If some of you are thinking, but this is overwhelming, this is great, I don't think I can do it. You know, I don't know if I have it. That's fine. But I need you to also think about, is it possibly time for some counseling? Okay. And that's okay. Because sometimes I need to get counseled on to be reminded of who I am. Sometimes I'm carrying some stuff because of some things that happened 20 years ago. And I didn't know they were connected, but every time I try to go to a meeting, I leave hurt because they rejected me. Sometimes I gotta go get some counseling to get my mindset a little healthier to handle this journey because it's hard. It is hard, but if I'm not in the right headspace, it's harder. So I just wanted to share. There's all kinds of counseling out here. I love Safe Harbor Christian Counseling. I love, oh, my favorites. I love Black Girls Therapy. I love Black Girls Therapy. Them sisters are bad. Okay. But I love that you can go to if you have an insurance, your insurance a lot of times has free counseling. Ask them and just begin to go down that road for a minute so that you can walk into your fullness in this season. I just wanted to end on that, Marlo, because I know we're in a tough season. We're in a tough season, but what's ours is ours. What's ours is ours. What's ours is ours. So I thank you guys. You have all of my information. Please feel free to reach out. If you just want to talk for me, y'all can reach out. It is okay. Send me a little text. Say, I need to chat with you for a minute. It is not a problem. Give me a couple of days to call you back. I got a lot going on at the moment, but I promise I will reach back out. Okay. Marlo, do you need anything else from me? I
I
enjoyed myself too.
don't.
I enjoyed
I'm gonna
myself.
close us out. I hope
Excellent.
everybody was taking notes. I would like to thank you, Dina, for the informative presentation. I would also like to give a special thank you to the Small Business Programs Certification and Outreach team for putting this together. I hope that everyone was able to learn something important and the information will help you grow. We look forward to seeing you at our new outreach. And remember, certification is the key to participation. And we look forward to your applications being submitted. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.